if I just had a better cello, if I just had a better piano, better recording equipment, my life would be so much better. That is one of the biggest lies in the music industry. We're talking about the constant need to spend money on the best equipment, the best instrument, the best tickets, the best seats to the best concert. It just goes on and on. But is it really a better instrument you need? Is it really better seats at the opera or an orchestra concert? Or is that just you feeling you need to constantly upgrade yourself? It's absolutely true. We love to get the best if we can. And what's wrong with that? Well, maybe there's nothing wrong with it, except if we mistake it for what it really is. You see, in music, we do this a lot. We constantly blame the tools instead of the craftsman, whether we are the craftsman or the people listening to the concert. And I'm not sure that's always right. Because do you ever feel that buying something new or better, that definitely feels like progress, but practicing can sometimes feel uncertain. Some days you actually sound worse than you did the day before. And some days you might go to a concert and you don't enjoy it and you assume the group wasn't good enough or I was sitting in the wrong sort of seats. Buying better stereo equipment or better instruments or tickets to the highest price concert you can find, that feels like something definite, something you can grasp a hold of. But are you really making progress when you do that? Well, let me start by talking about instruments. When my students come to me, sometimes they have good instruments and sometimes they have not so good instruments. And when they play, they don't sound as good as they could if they had a better instrument. I am not going to deny that. But far too often, I find that a student will say, well, if I had a really nice cello, I'm sure I could sound much better. They're not wrong, but they're missing the point. And this reminds me of the time that I said the same thing when I was 18 years old studying with David Finkel and complained about my instrument, which did have its problems. And he said, give me that thing. And he took it and he started playing the Dvorak cello concerto on it. And it just was mind-blowingly amazing. The technique was scintillating. The vibrato was beautiful. The music was moving and sincere. And he probably only played a minute. And afterwards, he said, a good musician will always sound good on an instrument which is at least passable. And he was totally right. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that a better instrument won't make you sound better. It definitely will do that. I remember that the cellist Bernard Greenhouse once told me that he really didn't do anything. He just let his instrument and his bow do all the work. It was so wonderful. Well, he was just being humble. The fact is, Bernard Greenhouse sounded like a great cellist and just a great musician, no matter what cello you gave him. But here's the fact, continuing with string instruments, intonation doesn't change. That's on you. Bow control is still you. Tempo, timing, all of that is still you. And the most of all, the musical intention and your ideas, that's you. An instrument can't give you your musical ideas. A better instrument is not going to fix those issues for you. But if you're a good musician and you have a good instrument, it will simply present those ideas in higher definition. But what about audiophiles, music lovers, and buying recording equipment? I see the exact same thing. If I can just get a better microphone, if I can just get better headsets, I'm sure that that's going to increase my enjoyment. Or if I'm recording, it's going to present my sound even better. See, the problem with that is it's not untrue. Those things are designed to get the best of the music out in a recording and the best of the music in when you're listening. But when you're listening, your enjoyment of music is affected by so many other things, by what you know about the music, by your understanding of the performer, by historical context. I think it's no surprise that you'll find a lot of professional musicians, me included, do not have great stereo equipment. Now, possibly some of that is because we can make our own music, but I can't make my own jazz combo. I can't make my own orchestra whenever I want it. A lot of the time, I'm very happy listening to wired headphones. And as for recording music, yes, you should always try to get the best microphone, record in a wonderful hall or in a very good recording studio where you can control every parameter. But the fact of the matter is, you can have the best of the best. And if you don't have something convincing in your playing, and if you're not at the top of your game, no matter how good that equipment is, people won't like it. You have to remember this: better sound doesn't mean better listening. And what about ticket prices? Because it is true that some concert halls, it sounds equally good no matter where you sit, but in other concert halls, where you sit does matter for viewing the instrument you want to see, viewing the performer, or your sound quality. But remember, prestige tickets, even when you go to the diagram and see how they put it out for you, the more expensive doesn't necessarily mean you get a better experience. For example, some of the time ticket prices will be much more expensive if you're very close to the stage. But musicians are trained to do what? To project out to the whole audience. That's our job. And sometimes if you're sitting too close, you don't get the mix. Singers might be actually singing over your head. We go to an orchestra concert and you're hearing more of one section than the other. You're not getting the intended mix. So maybe those higher prices are just getting you a better view, but not necessarily a better experience. And of course, even a great performance can be misunderstood or ignored. And just because a person bought a better seat doesn't mean they're really hearing the music anyway. Spending a lot of money on a better seat in a concert hall doesn't guarantee a better experience. It's not like buying a first class seat on an airplane where you get a wider seat, more luxury, and more comfort. If you're trying to get a better experience, the seat may not be the answer. The money might not be your answer. So what are we talking about here? The instrument is your tool for creation. The stereo equipment is your tool for hearing. And the ticket price is your tool for access. But none of these actually determine how you engage with the music. For a performer, nothing can substitute for practicing your skill and developing your own voice and understanding. For a music lover, nothing can take the place of learning more about the music, of hearing a variety of performers and understanding what the composer was trying to say. And when you're making a recording, nothing does more for the recording than the quality of you as a musician. You don't rise to the level of your equipment, you fall to the level of your habits. So am I telling you not to upgrade anything? Not at all. When a student recently asked me, how much should I spend on a cello? I said, as much as you're comfortable with to get the best cello you can. Because always getting a better instrument, getting better recording equipment, or getting tickets to the best performers, that's always going to give you a good advantage. But I don't think it's the primary thing. The primary thing is not to upgrade externals. It's to upgrade yourself. It's not about getting a better piano. It's about becoming the best pianist on any instrument. So if you can upgrade, that's a great thing to do. But first think about this. Are you just trying to buy your way to a better experience? Or is there something that you can do to create a better experience for yourself? But I'm interested to know what you think. Do you think that this is the right way to go? Or do you think that no matter what, you should always pay the highest you can for a concert, for an instrument, or for gear? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.